was Yogi's coach on the national team, Nelson, BC, in 1964. Oh, 1964 in Nelson. And the whole team arrived there. It was the first national ski team that Canada ever had. And 15 men and 10 women arrived in Nelson, British Columbia to go to school. The whole idea was to be able to ski race and go to school at the same time. So anyway, we arrived there in 64 in the summer. Yogi, the men arrived first. Yogi hadn't arrived yet because he was at Oregon. And so there was some anticipation about him because he came from a big American ski school, university, and there was an aura about him. He's kind of a bigger than life character. He's a big guy, and I'd never seen him ski. And that summer we had a slalom camp on the glacier outside of Nelson, and we set up a slalom course. And Yogi came down. The first time I saw him ski slalom, just like shot out of a cannon. Full blast, blonde hair flying, straight at the gates. And matter of fact, he was going so fast at the gates that he developed this technique where to hold the speed, his line around the pole, he'd wait his uphill ski, and his downhill ski would slide down below, and he'd bring the downhill ski up and give him a higher line into the next turn. It was very unique. And matter of fact, Ski Magazine wrote a story on that. It was called the high impulse, the hit turn, high impulse turn. And Yogi developed that.
Wow.
He was, yeah.
Another thing on the list.
He was, he'd be so fast in slalom that sometimes he'd lose his pole. And when you lose your ski pole, it takes a gate or two to get it back and you lose time. So Yogi, he had this idea where the ski pole straps were attached at the top of the pole. So you cut the straps, you attached one at the top of the grip and one at the bottom of the grip. So when you put your hand through it, your hand could let go of the pole, but the pole wouldn't leave your hand. It was brilliant. And that was Yogi. A couple of other ski team members are here. Peter Duncan, Scott Henderson, were top members of the team with Yogi. And Bertie Irwin. But the three of them reached world-class level in different ways. Peter Duncan was a virtuoso. I think he was born in the slalom course. I think he was. You were. I remember you about 9 years old. And Scott Henderson was a step-by-step, totally focused racer. Yogi was full blast. And the three of them reached world-class level, each in their own way, which is pretty amazing to see as a coach. So in 1966, the World Championships were going to be in Portillo, Chile. And that winter, I got a letter from Bob Lang, who wanted the racers to test a ski boot and wanted to know if the Canadian team, any members would want to test his first plastic boot. These are the very first plastic boots. So I said, okay. So we sent out some foot measuring forms, and Yogi and some of the other team members tried the boots with Lang sent. They were the Lang standard boot with a hinge. They were soft. They really were not very good boots. So Yogi, these were the comfortable ones. These are the ones that didn't hurt. They weren't made yet. So anyway, we had a meeting, and Yogi and the team members made a list of the improvements that Lang needed to make for the boots. So I sent them to Bob, and really never heard from him again. So in 66, in June, before the World Championships, there was a big race in Mount Hood I think it was a silver belt. And the U.S. team was there, Billy Kidd, Jimmy Yuga, off their silver and bronze medals from Innsbruck.
And Billy's here.
Yeah.
I hope
Billy's
everybody's
here.
saying hi.
Moose is here.
Moose is
And
here.
so we check out the hotel in Mount Hood. And I get a call from Bob Lang. He says, Jake, I want to show you some boots. So we met, and they had 3 pair of boots with a Canadian flag on the back of them. They were incredible race boots, just amazing race boots. So in that slalom race, I think Yogi and Peter Duncan and I think Bob Swan were the first ones to wear those boots. So the slalom race, the big guns, the Americans are there, and the Canadian guys, I think Peter might have won that slalom.
Billy's here, yes.
Or I think he would have. I mean, beating the U.S. Olympians. This is on Lang boots. This was huge. So we go to Chile, Portillo, and between June and August, World Championships, Lang made competition boots for the whole Canadian ski team. And this is the first ski team, international racers, to wear Lang boots. So we all go down to Portillo, and the last race is the men's slalom. And the French dominated the events. Jean-Claude Keely was winning everything. And so we're at the slalom, and in the first run, Keely was first, Guy Perrial was second, Yogi was third after the first run. And fourth was an Italian, Carlo Sonona, who was a second and a half slower than Yogi. And so we're at the starting gate. The slalom hill is a very, very steep hill, sort of evening out at the bottom, flattening out toward the bottom. The top is very steep, and there was about 5 open gates on the steep. So in those days, they didn't reverse the order. So the fastest time went first, second, third, and fourth, so on. Now they reversed them, but that time they didn't. So in the start, Keely takes off, goes out on about the third gate, skis off the course. Perrial goes down, skis off the course on the steep. Yogi's in the start. He's a second and a half faster than the Italian. So I'm there beside him, and I said, Yogi, make 4 good turns, and you've got this. Yogi turns to me and he says, Jake, get off my back. I'm going for gold. And he skied off the course. I don't think many people know that story, but Yogi would have been the first Canadian man ever to win a world championship or an Olympic medal. But that was Yogi. He lived life on his own terms, and he was great. And we all miss him. And just thought I'd tell that story.